Hey everybody, today what we're going to do is we're going to look at dimensioning, and the first thing I'm showing you here is our dimensioning sheet. I'm going to give all of you one of these. This sheet has got how we dimension things. So we've got, on dimensions, you've got dimensions that show location and you've got dimensions that show size. So when we dimension something, everything needs to be located left to right, top to bottom, and the size given. If you can do that for every single drawing, you're good. Okay, and for every single feature. Now, a feature is something that's done to the object. So pretend like you start with a rectangular piece of material, okay, and then we cut away or add to or drill holes or whatever. That's what we've got to do. So like on this one, we've got this cylinder standing up. See, here it is standing up. There's the cylinder. Then there's a hole cut through it, okay, and then there's an angle cut on it. So if this whole thing was one great big rectangular piece and all this was took away except for the cylinder, and then a hole was drilled in it, and then the angle was cut, there are 3 features on this object. So what you have to do is locate each feature left to right, top to bottom, and give it size. So we'll get more into that in a little bit. But notice down here the arrowheads. Arrowheads are typically 2.5 to 3 times wider than they are this way, okay? So, and most arrowheads are 3/16 this way and a 1/16 that way, okay? They're tough to draw, but we'll get to them. And we'll talk about doing arcs, inside arcs and outside arcs. We'll talk about the 2 ways of doing angles, and again, the holes. Okay, so let's get started. So our first one, when we take an object, the first thing you want to do is you want to look and go, okay, how many features are there? And the way I do this is I consider a feature if I started with a rectangular piece or a round piece of stock. So it could be like a cylinder, a round piece of metal, or a rectangular or square piece of metal. And then what did I do to it to make it look like the finished product? So on this one, I cut away that corner and cut away that corner. So there are 2 features on this. See, number of features, 2. So the number of linear dimensions needed. Now what does that mean? A linear dimension is either a horizontal dimension, so how far it is left to right, or a vertical dimension, how far it is top to bottom. So on this one, I always dimension the smallest dimensions first, because I want them closest to the object. We can never cross over what we call a dimension line. I'll show you that in just a second. So the features will always be the smallest dimensions. So if I located this feature from top to bottom, I would come from here, and I'm doing this in red so you can see it a little bit better, and here, okay, and I would give it size. So this down to here and this down to here. Now, I would use a scale to do this with, to do my measuring with. So I'd lay this down here, and that is 1.5 inches. So I would write in 1.50. So remember, we need to 50. Now my numbers are not real pretty. If I was doing this for real on a regular drawing problem or drafting problem, I would have me some guidelines, okay? And then we want our arrowheads here. And again, they're really skinny, and they're a little bit longer than you think, okay? Don't draw ugly buffalo killers. These are buffalo killers. Don't do that. Try to make them nice and thin, and put just a little bit of a curve on the end of it. Can y'all see that? Okay. All right, so that's my height for that feature, okay, where it's located at. So this is a location dimension, so it's located top to bottom, okay? You don't have to put the L. I'm just doing that to show you that, okay? Now, left to right, and again, I would read over the top of my scale. I'm reading from the 6 over. It's 1 1/4, because 6, 7 1/4, okay? So again, I would measure up this way, and I would measure up this way. Now, how far off the object am I putting these numbers? Well, the first dimension away from the object, and we said this was 1 1/4. Okay, the first dimension away from the object is about 3/8 of an inch. From the dimension line, this is the dimension line. It's the line with the number in it and the arrows on the end of it. So about 3/8 of an inch off the object. Here I got a little bit farther out, but the reason why, I got to take into account that number. So again, about 3/8 so from the line to here. It'll still work. Don't worry about the number. Just go from here to here. Okay? So 3/8 of an inch off for the first one. This one is a little bit farther. Okay, so there's that. Now look, I basically worked off of that corner, right? But I've got to come all the way over to the edge that I'm given. So there and there. That's why it's done like it. Okay? Now, that's one feature. How about my other feature? Well, over here's my other feature. Very same thing. And again, if I measured, it would be 1 1/4 in. So I would do the exact same thing. I would come up this way, come up this way. And now I want these lined up because that's what's called chaining or stringing dimensions together. And we're going to have the very same number. 1 1/4. And like I said, I'm writing these really ugly now. I would do a lot better job if I was using all my tools. Leave a little room for your number to work. Notice how I kind of crowded that 5 right there? We want to leave some room around it. Let it breathe a little bit, okay? Don't touch it if you can help it. This one's a little short, you know. It should come on over into there, okay? So that's those two. Now, again, I could put this over here because this is a different feature. Now, I could leave it off, and we could leave an assumption that this height and this height are the same. But, you know, some people say that they don't want to do that, so you could put them both on there. I'm going to leave it off right now, okay? So, look, I've located this feature left to right. I've located it top to bottom. I've located this feature left to right, and I've located it top to bottom by that number, okay? If things are really close together, it's obvious that they're in line, you can do that. But if there's any doubt, put this one in, okay? So there's that. Now I need to get rid of this right here, okay? So that is my location left to right, location top to bottom. Well, how about size? That's also the size of the cut. Look, I cut away that much. I cut away that much. So this one is location and size, okay? Don't overthink it. It's actually not bad. The only thing I need to finish this up is I need how tall the entire piece is. And again, this line just keeps right on coming out. The lines that's coming out away from the object or extending away from the object are called extension lines, okay? Notice we've got a gap at every one of the extension lines. They don't touch the object lines. That's about a 1/16 of an inch gap. And notice that the extension line goes on beyond the dimension line everywhere. See that? And they go on about 1/8 of an inch. Okay? So how tall is this object? Well, we'll measure it right here, and it is 4.5 tall. Okay, so 4.5. Notice our numbers are written, all of them are written horizontally. We don't have any turned vertically, okay? This is actually called the unidirectional way of dimensioning. All numbers are turned one direction, unidirectional, okay? Now we need to know how wide the object is, the overall width. I'm reading from the 4 over, and it is 3.5 inches wide. So again, I'm going to come up. Now, how about how far apart am I putting these dimensions? Adjacent dimensions, so this dimension line, no less than 1/4. I love to go 3/8, 3/8, 3/8, 3/8 if I can, if I've got enough room. Okay? So I'm going to come here. Remember, I'm going to leave about 1/8 of an inch. Okay? And this was 3.5 inches. Okay? So, located the features, every one of them, left to right. So here, here, top to bottom, here, here, it's the same. And I've gave overall height and width of this object. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm done with that object. Remember, as long as you can say I've located left to right, located top to bottom, and gave the size of every feature, and I've gave overall height, width, and or depth, if we're doing a multi-view, I'm done with the object. So there's the first one. That's all you've got to do for that one, okay? So let's look at the second one. Second one is very similar. But notice, the corners are not cut away. Notice that my cutouts are in the middle of the piece. And I've got an angled corner. This is called a chamfer. Anytime you cut a corner off, it's called a chamfer. C-H-A-M-F-E-R, chamfer. Okay? So, remember, we've got to locate where it's from, and we've got to give it size. So, this cut, I'm going to locate it off this corner. I always want to work off a common corner if I can. So I'm going to locate here to here. Okay? And I'm going to give the size of the cut. Here to here. Okay? See there? Now, how deep does the cut go? Or where is the bottom located? You can say either one. So this is size and location, right? I've got to come from that corner, so I'm going to leave my gap from there. Notice I crossed over that object line. That's okay. The only line we can't cross is a dimension line, one with a number in it. Okay? So what I need is that dimension and that dimension and that dimension. So let's measure. So again, from the 7, it's 1 1/4 over, and it is 1 1/4 wide. Am I right on that? Let's double check. No, 1 3/8. Look at there. I read the wrong mark. You've got to be careful. So 1 3/8 in and 1 1/4. Do them one at a time. It'll keep you from messing up. Okay. So this is 1.38. Okay. And it's 1 1/4. Always double check. 1 1/4 in. Now notice my arrowheads touch each other right here. Okay, that's what we want them to do because that's our chain of dimensions again. Okay, we chain them together. Okay, so there's that. Now, how tall is this piece or how deep is the cut? It's 1 inch. So 1 inch. And notice that my numbers are pretty well centered on my dimension lines. Okay. Now look here. Across the top of this thing, there's basically 3 pieces to the top. 1, 2, 3. I'm leaving this one out. The reason why, I'm going to give the overall width, so I don't need that dimension. Okay? Let's go back to the first one real quick and look what we did here if we think about the very same thing. 1, 2, 3 pieces. I left this one out because I didn't do anything to that. All my actions was here if I was making this part. So I gave 2 and the overall. Here, 1, 2 pieces, so I left this one out. Gave that one. You'll always give 1 less than the sum. So 1, 2, just give 1. 1, 2, 3, just give 2. If there were 40, you'd do 39. Okay? As long as you're giving the overall. All right, so that's that feature done. Let's move to this one, another cutout. So we need to know where it's located at. I don't want to come out here and do more. I want to keep everything in a straight line if I can. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to come out here and locate it from this corner. And I'm going to give it size here. Okay? So, keeping everything in line, I'll have a line here. Okay? And of course, that got a little long on me. We don't want that long. We just want to be about 1/8 of an inch away. Okay? I would always draw these really light to start with, and then darken in what I want to keep. Okay? And then, of course, like I said, it's located from here to here. Okay? So let's check these measurements. That one is 1 1/4. That one is 1 3/4. So 1.75 and 1.25. Okay? Now, how deep does the cut go? Again, we need to work off a corner. Here's our common corner. Notice here we worked off of that corner for everything. Located and size that way. Located and or size that way. Everything came off of that corner. This one, I'm going to go this way. Okay? Because again, that's going to let me work off a common corner. Okay? So how deep is that cut? Well, it is 7/8 deep. 7/8, so 0.88. Now notice something here. I can't get a line and an arrowhead and a number and everything inside of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these on the outside. Best case scenario, everything fits. Second case scenario, just the number, pop the arrows and stuff on the outside and the lines. If it was really tiny, I'd come out here and write the number. If it was really, really tiny, I may have to point at it to give the number. Okay? So, located left to right, located top to bottom, size. Located left to right, located top to bottom, size. So far, so good. Now, notice what this says down here. Use location and angle to dimension angled line. Well, what does that mean? All right, so location and angle. There's 2 ways to do an angle, and I'm going to show you the other one here in a minute. The first one is a location and an angle, if we've got to give an angle. So, here's my cutoff corner. So, you know, technically that corner sat right there, right? See how really light I've got it drawn? Okay, that's where that corner sat. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down. I'm going to locate it along the bottom. Now, this is one that you can pick, but it's better to locate along the bottom because I've already got a linear, horizontal or vertical dimension here. Okay, make these lines the same length. This one's going to fit, so I'm going to be able to pop them on the inside this time. Okay, how far is that? Well, now here again, this is one that's kind of tough because I really didn't give you a point to go by. So I'm going to give you this number and tell you that it is, and my line should have been over here, by the way. that is 1.5 inches in, okay? So remember that, 1.5 inches, all right? Since we're working through these together, you can do that, all right? I'm going to help you, all right? So, now the other is the angle. The angle. So again, if this was a horizontal line here, and I would need to have perfect horizontal line. So what would I do for that if I needed a perfect horizontal line? Well, that's where I would use a protractor. Okay? So, you know, I'd need that perfect horizontal line going across there. Then I would use my protractor and measure it. So here's my protractor. And you know, if you need to, you could use a protractor to draw your line out nice and straight, make sure you had it, okay? And then what we want to do is we want to measure our angle. So we're going to put it on the middle point. We're going to line up here, line up with our line, and it hits right at 45, okay? So it's a 45-degree angle. So how are we going to draw that? Well, we would extend this line out, okay? This line would extend out. Then we would put an arc, and this arc needs to be fairly flat, okay? So right about there to right about there. So and this is 45 degrees, okay? And then we put an arrowhead here. This line would come about a 1/16 off again. Same thing here. About a 1/16 of an inch off here, like that. And that's it. So that's location and angle. That's how we do that. Now, located left to right, located top to bottom, size. Located left to right, located top to bottom, size. Located left to right, located top to bottom, and size. All that works at once. So we only need 2 dimensions here for these because these are inside the piece. We need 3. Anytime you work right on a corner, most of the time you can get away with 2 dimensions. Okay. The last thing we need, of course, we need to extend this on out and this on out. And we need to put our overall size. Now, I never like to put numbers right side by side, so I'm going to offset this and stagger it just a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to go up. Very same thing going up like this. I never like to stack dimensions. It makes it look kind of like a math problem if I do. So again, I'm going to stagger these just a little bit, like that, and like that. Okay. Arrowheads, 1/8 of an inch beyond with the extension lines, all that good stuff. Okay. So there we go. Now, what's my overall width? It is 1, 2, 3, and 5/8. So 3.62. Remember, if you can't remember those numbers in decimal, get your cheat sheet out with your decimal equivalents. The height is 4.5. Okay, so 4.50. So one more time. Located left to right, located top to bottom, size. Located left to right, located top to bottom, size. Located left to right, at an angle. That's all size and everything included. And then overall height and width, I'm good to go. Now, remember, people always want to say, well, how do I know where it hits up here? With an angle, once I draw this, when my saw's coming across here, when I hit air, I get out of the material, I'm done. So I don't need a number from here to here. I just need the angle for that. Okay? So there's that one. Look, 3 features, 10 linear dimensions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait a minute, where's the 10th one at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ah, that's a mistake. There's only 9. Okay? So it should say 9. And then angular dimensions. Yeah, this come off another problem. What I did was I copied that from another problem. There's only 1 angular dimension. There we go. That's a whole lot better. Okay? So, on this one, you may want to pay attention to that, all right? Because you're going to freak yourself out trying to find all those dimensions if you don't. Okay? So there we go. There's the second one done. So now let's look at the third one. And this one, I caught my mistake on this one. Because, see, I copied these over and around and stuff. And when I did, I didn't do my numbers really well. So this one's all messed up too, okay? So this one here, just ignore the leader deal. We'll talk about leaders here in a minute. What we need is we need linear dimensions and we need number of features. Well, how many features are there? Look, start with a rectangle. There's only one, the cutoff corner. All right? And how many linear dimensions do we need? Well, because we're working on one corner, we're going to need to locate left to right, locate top to bottom, and then give overall, and that's it. Because this one says use location, location. Now we get to use those lines like we talked about. I'm going to grab my protractor again because I've got a clean edge down here I can use to draw with. I'm going to line up with that. Again, I'm going to draw me a really light line across there. Line up with this. I'm going to draw me a really light line up here. So see right here is the corners where it would have been before I cut everything away, okay? And I'm going to work off the common corner. Now, I have seen people locate here to here and locate here to here and give those two numbers instead of these two. That's okay, but I just prefer this one and this one, okay? Because I'm doing everything, I'm working, that corner is what's going away, so I like working off that corner. But again, neither one is more right than the other in a case like this, okay? So let's locate this one left to right. You just got to draw a little bit longer going this way. Okay, so it's going to come out there. This one's going to come out here. All right, so how tall is that? Well, I got a good straight line to measure on so I can get it. So it is 1, 2, there's a half, 2 5/8. So it's 2 5/8 up and down. Everything fits nicely on this one. 2.62. It's 2 5/8. Okay, there's that. Now, how wide is this cut? Again, I can go right out that line. And it is, let me get over here. I'm going to give it to you on the 0 mark because for y'all it may be easier to read. All right, so the whole thing is 6 inches long. But now look, I'm hitting on the 16th this time. Okay, which is fine. So let's read it back this way. And again, I'm just sliding back and forth and back and forth. It's okay. As long as I'm reading whole inches and pieces, I'm good. So 1, 2, 3 inches. There's a half. Okay, there's 3/4. I'm 1 mark back from 3/4. I happen to know that that's 11/16. Okay, so 3 11/16. So that's going to come up there. This is going to come way up here. Like I said, I know a lot of people don't like to do that. They'd rather work here. But for me, it's no big deal. Okay, I like giving numbers off of the common corner to the people that's doing the work. Okay, so we said 3 11/16. Well, how big is 11/16? Well, if you remember, 3/4 is 0.75, right? A 16th is at 0.06. 0.06. So we subtract that from that, and we get 0.69, 2 decimal places. Again, you can use your cheat sheet if you can't remember. So 0.69, 3.69. An easy number to remember because of the 3 inches, 369, right? Okay, so there's that. That's all we need to do for that feature because we're working off of a corner again, okay? And again, how wide we say the object was? From the 5 over to the 11, so that's 6. And the height from the 3 down to the 7, so that's 4. So this is going to come out here. This one's going to continue on. Get that line about 1/8 of an inch out. Bring it down like that. So it was 4 tall. Bring this one up, bring this one up. Same height if we can. Okay, it's kind of hard to do freehand, I know. That's the reason why I prefer working with tools. We say it was 6 inches wide. And again, don't crowd your numbers, okay? So, that's all we need on this. Location, location, and size, all built into those 2 dimensions. Overall height and width, that one's done. Okay? Let's keep moving. What if we've got something with rounded stuff, okay? Look, so we've got interior cuts on this one. See what we did? We cut the corners off. Bang, bang, right there. Now, I've shown these center lines extended out. Sometimes you'll see them, sometimes you won't. If you don't, just draw them in there, okay? So you can measure along them since I'm working off the corner. And then we've got a hole drilled in it, okay? So we've got 3 features. So let's see what we need. Now we're going to get into that leader thing. So here's where we're going to use the leader thing, okay? So let's deal with the hole first. We need to locate it left to right, locate it top to bottom. Think about it. We're going to use a drill bit to cut that, okay? I'm going to use this corner right here. So this is going to extend down. Now I can measure right along that center line right there is a good place. So 7 over 8 1/4. So it's 1 1/4 inches. Don't put 8 1/4. It's only 1 inch. Okay. The center line becomes an extension line. There's no gap here. It just keeps right on going. Okay. See, we got the gaps here, but there's no gap here. We let it go on out. Okay. So this is going to come down here like this. We're locating the hole. Where to put the drill bit? 1 1/4 inches. Okay. Locate the features left to right. Extend this center line on out. Remember, center lines are the only ones that don't have a gap between it and the extension line. So how far are we here to here? Let's locate up and down. Again, I'm going to lay it right down on my center point. Go all the way down. and it's 2 inches because I measured straight off the 0 that time. 2.00. There's my hole, located left to right, located top to bottom. Okay? Got that done. Now, how big is the hole? Well, let's measure its diameter. Because remember, if you're going to use a drill bit to cut it, you need to give them diameter. Don't give them radius in a case like this. If it starts life as a full hole, a full circle, give them diameter. And it's 1 inch. Now, where do I put that? A lot of times, if we can bring it right out beside our locations, it's good. But if you've got stuff all around it, don't do that. If you're going to do an overall over here, don't put that leader here. And I'm going ahead and tell you, I'm going to put my overall height of this object right here on this corner. So, I can't put it there. I can't come up through here. Don't want to come here. Don't want to come here. Believe it or not, that hole dimension is going to have to come out here. Now, this is done with a leader. What's a leader? A leader is like taking your finger and pointing at something, and you touch the edge of what you're talking about. Okay? If it's a hole or an arc, the center point comes into play. Now, on a hole, what that means is we're going to come in, we're going to draw up an angled line just like our finger would come in, and if it continued on, it would pass right through the midpoint. Okay? We need to draw it at a convenient angle. That's either 45, 30, or 60. I usually keep mine 30 or 45 if I can. But anyway, so, like I said, I've sort of extended my line through. I know where it's going to go. Notice how light I drew that. Y'all probably can't even see that. So my arrowhead's going to go right here. My line's going to come out this way. I put what's called the shoulder on my leader. Right there it is. That's a 1/4 inch horizontal line. It's always horizontal. Doesn't matter which way it goes, but it's always horizontal. What do I mean by which way does it go? Well, a leader can, it can turn either direction, and that leader I can write out here to the right, or my shoulder can go this way, and I can write out here to the left. It can even do this. It can turn back on itself. As long as it's horizontal, it doesn't matter. Okay? But you always, the top line of text, no matter how many lines of text we got, the top line of text is always centered on that. Okay? So this is a diameter of 1. Now watch this. I'm going to write it backwards. And this is hard to do the first time or two you do it. But the reason why I do that is to make sure I have enough room to write it. Okay? If you can do that, that's fine. If you can't, try to make it work. You just don't want to get over here and your last 0 end up on top of your line. Okay? So a 1 inch diameter. There it is. Remember, the symbol always goes in front of the number. Okay? If we had multiples, we would put a quantity out here. Let's say there were 2 of those. We would put a 2x in front of that. Quantity always goes in front. Doesn't mean double the size of it. That's just how many there are. Okay? And you'll go, oh, I got 2 arcs. Yeah, but they're different sizes, so I have to give different dimensions. Okay? So, location left to right, location top to bottom, size. Done with the hole. Finished. How about the arc? Now, this time, we want our leader to pass through the center line. Watch this, through the center point. Look at there. Ain't that neat? 45-degree angle, nice and convenient. I can use a 30 or 60 if I need to. Sometimes you do. I'm going to put a number there, and I'm going to put a number here, because they are different sizes. Okay? Now, notice my shoulder's turned out to the right. That one's turned to the left. So how big is it? Well, it's real easy to do as long as I've got that line to measure on my center point. That one is 1 1/4 inch radius. So R 1.25. Okay? Look, easy to write because I'm writing out to the right. Well, look, if that's a real concern and I've got room, notice I'm going to sort of line these up just to keep them together. It's because it looks good. Okay? Draw my shoulder out to the right. That's okay. Okay? That'll work. How big is that one? That one's exactly 1 inch. R 1 inch. Okay? A radius is not only a size, how big is the radius, it's also location, because from here to here is 1 1/4. Well, from here to here is 1 1/4. From here to here is 1 1/4. So it is a location up and down, location left to right, and size. The one number is all we need. Okay? Now, remember what we said here. I told you I was going to do this. Okay, so the overall height. You're always reading between the points of the arrow. See, from that point to that point. Like I said, if I have something that looks like this, with arrows pointing this way, the arrows touch whatever we're going to, and then our number, let's pretend like it was a 1/2 inch, our number would go between them, okay? Right in the middle of the line. but the arrow's always touching. You always read between the points of the arrowheads. So always make them go to what you want. See, look, touches, touches, touches. Every one of them touches what we're going to or talking about. Okay? So how tall is this object? It's 4 inches. Can you see the theme? I used that number a lot, didn't I? Now, how wide is it? Okay, this is where we got a problem, because you do this first, and that's when you realize, oh, crud, I really wanted to put a number down here. That's why you need to plan what you want to do first. Y'all, this was an honest mess up. I didn't mean to do that, okay? So if you've already got that drawn in, you're probably going to be mad at me because that's got to go. That can't stay there, okay? It can stay on that line, but it's got to be on this side. So again, you need to look ahead and make sure you know what you're doing, okay? So it should be 1 inch there. Because now I'm going to extend this out. I'm going to extend this out. I'm going to put my overall width here of the object. Okay? And it is 1.5 wide. Measure it again. Make double sure. 2.5. Thought so. 1, 2.5. Always check your numbers. There we go. So, location, location, size, location, location, size, location, location, size, overall height, overall width, done. There's that one done. Okay? How about an object with a fully rounded end? So the whole thing, this whole end is rounded off. Okay, so what do we do in a case like this? Because the whole end is rounded off. It takes a lot less dimensions because the radius serves as a size. But this is the one time we're going to make people actually do math. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to give them the number. How far is this center point located from the square end? I need to know that because we're giving the person that's building this information. So I need to know how far this is. Okay? And it is, going backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4.5. It's 4.5 inches. Okay? So that's that. Now, because I've got a radius out here, a radius, I'm going to give this number. Now watch this. I'm going to start from my center point. I'm going to come out. I'm going to line up with that just so it looks good. And now this time I know for a fact, I remember this time, I'm going to turn that shoulder backwards just to make it easier to write. But now look where I put my arrowhead. Started from the center, come here. Right there's where I'm measuring to and from. Then I extend on out. Okay? So how big is that? It is 1.5. So R 1.5. Now notice, that's a math problem. This is the only time we're going to make them add. 4.5 plus 1.5 is 6. 4, 5, and then the 1/2 is another one, so that's 6. This whole object is 6 inches long. I will not give the dimension from here to this end. This is the one time we're going to make them add. Okay? So there's that. Now, how about the hole? Where's it located at? Well, believe it or not, we've kind of located this one twice. Because the radius, it shares a common center point. It's concentric. Remember, concentric means with the same center point. So, that radius tells us it's 1.5 inches in from here. We know it's 4.5 inches in from here because we've given that. So it is already located left to right. Well, guess what I'm going to do now? I'm going to take, and I'm going to sort of mirror it in. I'm going to do it really light. Now I'm going to point here. I'm going to come on out. And again, I'm going to do a right hand shoulder because I know nothing else is going over here. Now, this, you go, oh, that's going to be a radius because it's part of a circle. It's an arc. No. You had to drill that with a drill. So we need diameter. And it is 1 7/8. So diameter symbol, 1.88. There we go. Okay? So there's that. So the radius, located left to right, size. And of course it acts as its own size. So people say, hey, why are you doing that? Remember, we still need to know how far it is from here to here. So this is why we do that. Okay? Now, the diameter, we've located it using either one of those, and we gave it size. So that one's done. Okay? If it's concentric, the radius and the diameter is all you need to do. If we've got like a rounded corner or something, you'll see that in the next drawing. Okay? Now, how about the slot? Well, where's the slot located from there to there? Well, let's look and see. It is 7/8. 0.88. I'm worried about getting lines and arrowheads in, so I'm going to put that on the outside. I'm going to put this on the outside. Now, I like to tell how big the cut is because that's the action they're going to do. So I want to know from here to here. And again, this takes a little planning when you do this, okay? So how big is the cut? Well, it is 1 1/4. Now watch this, 1 1/4. But look, this arrowhead we drew for that number, but it can also work for this number. We can let it just do both. It's pulling double duty. It's kind of neat when they can do that, okay? There we go. Well, how about how far in it goes? How far do we cut? Same thing. When we get to the hole that's drilled, there's no more material over here. We don't need a number from here to here. When you run out of material, you cut the saw off. So we don't need that number. All right, how about the overall height? Look, the radius tells us that that is 3. We don't need it. That is all the dimensions we need. Linear dimensions. And again, that should have said 3, y'all. I'm telling you, don't read these numbers, okay? Ignore these up here. So there we go. That one's done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all we need. Okay. Now, what if we've got rounded edges and you go, oh, I got fully rounded ends, 2 of them. No, we got a square edge. These just happen to be rounded corners. So what do we do here? This is what I was telling you about just a second ago. In a case like this, guess what? We need radius. Now, you need to think about where, because I've got a square corner, I'm going to put my radius on the bottom here. Okay. So I know my radius is going to go here. My arrow is going to go here. Okay. I'm going to put my radius over here because square corner. Okay. And again, I can turn it backwards. I'm going to turn this one out this way this time. Okay. So how big are they? Well, let's look and see. That one is a 15/16. Wow, weird number, right? 15 marks. That one is 15/16. They're identical. Okay. So radius in 15/16. Big number. It's actually 0.94. Remember, a 16th is, messed up, didn't I? Because I was going to talk about the 06. 0.94. Because 0.06 is a 16th, and that from 1 would be 0.94. Same thing here, 0.94. Okay? Now, I need to locate this way and this way. So I need to come down, I need to come down, I need to give this number. And I need to come up and give this number. Okay, so how far is that located? That one is 5 to 11 is 6, so 6 inches. This way is 3 inches. So we're not going to give overall width, we're not going to give overall height because of the rounded corners. Okay, we're going to give those 2 numbers. So the piece of material that we need is 3.94 to start with. If we started with a rectangular piece of material by 6.94, if we were going to do that and cut those rounded corners. How about this radius here? Again, it's kind of tough to do, so I'm going to help you with this. It's really nice to have center lines in here that show where they come in there. The good part about radius is that it's the same both directions, and it is a 1/2 inch. So here, pointing in this time, because we're talking about that radius, R.50. There we go. Okay. Now, how about the holes? Well, let's check them, just out of curiosity. That one is 3/4. That one is 3/4. Hey, they're the same. Watch this. We could have done this for the radius, the radii, but the reason why I didn't is because I want to make sure they've got it to do the math. But because these holes are identical, I can do this. This is kind of interesting. Again, I want to sort of mirror that. So I draw me a really light line, come out here, stop it there, touch with the arrowhead my hole that I've got there. Draw this out, do my diameter symbol. But before I do the diameter symbol, oops, look, there's 2 of them. So I can say 2x, that's quantity, diameter, and we said it is 1/2 of an inch, so 0.50. Quantity of 2, diameter 0.50. The other way we could have written that, that's the way I want you to do this one, by the way. But the other way we could have written that is our leader could have come up, we could have had our shoulder out there. We could have had diameter 0.50, and we could have come back here behind it and did TYP period. Typical. That means they're the same. Okay. Quantity is always good. Typical will work if it's a real simple drawing. Okay. But this is the way we're going to do this one. So look, you say, where's the hole located at? The holes. Well, the radii give us the location of the holes because they're concentric again, same center point. And our locations, size of this is location and size both. That one's done. That's simple. Okay. Now we've got another one with fully rounded ends, but they're different sizes. What are we going to do now? Well, watch this. Because they're fully rounded on both ends, we're going to locate between them. So how far is it? I'm reading from the 8 over to the 11. That's 3 inches. All right, you want to double check? Let's go out here and look and see. See, everybody wants to put the 0 out here on the end. Oh, no, that wasn't that right. That was wrong. Where was you reading from, Mr. Atkins? Look, 6 to 11. All right, it was 6 instead of 8. Make sure your numbers are right. That's why you always double check like that. Make sure, okay? So from here to here is 5 inches. Okay? Now what do we need to finish it? I bet you know already, don't you? We'll run this down. Will it fit with a shoulder there? It'll be tight. We'll try. Again, our arrow goes here because we're reading from here to here. How big is this one? Again, really careful. Really careful. 1.5. Or 1.50. Look here. Same thing. Down. I'm going to turn it this way this time. And what's my radius here? 9, 10 is exactly 1 inch. Or 1 inch. So how big is this piece? 5, 6, 7.5. 7.5 inches long. We don't give an overall. Okay? Now what do? Believe it or not, the only thing that's left is the 2 holes. That's it. So again, sort of straight up. Get myself a direction right there. There we go. Out. Okay, what's the diameter of that hole? That is 1 inch. So diameter 1. They're different sizes this time. So again, get me a direction going up, really light. Now I'm going to draw my line back. Make it nice and dark. Okay. We'll do it this way this time. Diameter this time is 1.5. And believe it or not, that's it. That's all the dimensions we need on that. This line is tangent. It actually doesn't touch here and here. It may look like it, but it actually touches right about there because it's going to be perpendicular or 90 degrees to that line. And it touches, right about there. Again, perpendicular 90 degrees. So we just play connect the dots on that one. Okay? That's all you do. Okay, so there's that one. Last one. Big one. Look at this. Whoo, boy. No square corners, no anything, just round. Well, overall size is going to be the diameter. We know that. We've got a hole cut in it. We've got a center line that's a circle. And we've got these spaced out around here. These are all the same size. Whew. Boy, that helps. Okay? So let's get started. Let's do this hole first. Okay? Now, which way do we go with it? Well, you sort of have to pick your poison, right? I'm going to go up with it. Okay? So again, I'm going to sort of get my line coming out here. I don't want to be too close to that circle because that may cause it to look funny. So I'm going to bring it on up here a little bit steeper like that. So right about there. Now then, put my arrowhead there because I'm talking about that hole. Draw out. Draw out. And how big is it? It is 2.5 inches in diameter. Diameter 2.50. There we go. That one's taken care of. But you say, where's it located at? Look, all of these 3 are concentric. So the diameter of this will give us where that thing's located at. Okay, we're good on that. All right. So what do we do next? How about these little holes? I'm going to go ahead and give you the hard part next, okay? These little holes, they're equally spaced, which is really nice around here. Okay? And they're all the same size. What we need to know is how far it is from here to here. So we do need this center line. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of draw me a line out here. And I kind of want to hit that center line, which would be good, because I want to talk about this center line. Now, I can put that number there. I don't ever want to put a number on an object. I don't want to put it in here. So I like drawing out. I have seen them drawn right across here like that and put from here to here. But that gets messy, especially with all these lines going everywhere. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure nobody can question what it is. I'm going to make sure my note is good and clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure across the center line from there to there. 1, 2, 3, 4.5 inches. So look what I'm going to do. Diameter, 4.5, but what type of line is it? It is a center line. So I'm going to do the symbol for center line. C with an L interlocked. So it's a diameter 4.5 inch center line. Okay? That's what we're going to do. Now, what else are we going to do? Well, we need to know these holes. How far apart are they spaced? How big are they? More stuff, right? Well, people say, well, I could just put equally spaced to make them figure it out. You could, but if you can help them out. Because look, start at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A circle has 360 degrees. If you divide 360 by 8, you're going to get 45 degrees. So, these holes, and look what I'm going to do. I'm going to give an angular dimension. Bring it on out a little bit more. Boy, these should be better lined up, right? Okay, so we're going to pretend like I drew that a lot prettier than I did. 45 degrees. And here, you really want to center it up. You could even stack it. You don't want this way out here like this, so you want to try to get a little better centered than I did. Typical. That helps. Okay? Now they know where they're located at. Now, how big are they? Again, I like keeping things together if I can. So here, I'm going to sort of get my angle coming down this way. I'll point here at this hole. I'll come down. I'll come out like that. Now, again, how many are there? There are 8. Okay? So, 8 times, that means 8 of them, quantity of 8. Now, how big are they? And again, where do we measure? Well, we want diameter. And the diameter of that is 3/4 of an inch. Diameter, 0.75. How big is the big circle? The diameter of the overall piece. I'm going to start measuring at 1, and it goes to 7, so that means 6, right? So the overall piece, the entire piece, and again, I would go toward my center point. Okay, point right here. Bring out my leader. Measure it again because I forgot that quick. 6 inches. That's what we need for that one. We're done. Because remember, everything works off that center point. That's sized and located because it's the center of that. These are sized, located twice really, right? In quantity. And then the overall is that big. That's it. It's done. Okay? So those are your single views. That's what you've got to do today. Work on those. Do them exactly like I did. Go back and watch the videos. If you mess up, if you want to check on something, go back and watch it again. So that's what you got. Enjoy it.